Can I tell you the most frustrating thing about manifestation? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And nobody seems to agree on why. One person will visualize and get incredible results. Another person will do the same thing for years and stay stuck. I became obsessed with understanding the difference. And what I discovered completely changed the way I think about manifestation. Because it has very little to do with what you are asking for and everything to do with what you believe about yourself to be true. That is identity shift. And today I'm going to explain it in a way that actually makes sense. No jargons, no spiritual bypass, no toxic positivity, just the real mechanic of why manifestation works when it does work and why it doesn't when it doesn't. Stay with me. If you got my first video in this series called Manifestation for Beginners, welcome back. I got a few messages saying that this clicked, but the same question kept coming again and again. But how should I shift my identity? What does that even mean in real life? IRL. And that is exactly what this video is for. And if you're brand new here, hi, my name is Tania. This channel is a gentle space for manifestation, mindset, shift, and real personal growth. You don't need to have watched the first part to understand this video, but I will link it in the end so you can follow that as well. Okay, so first, what is identity shift? Not the Instagram version, not the just believe you're that girl version, the actual mechanic. So here's the simplest way I can explain it. Right now, you have a story you believe of who you are, right? We all know that inside our heads. Not a story you invented consciously, but a story that has been set in your for years, but a story that was built over years by your family, by your experiences, by people around you, the times things worked, and the many more times they didn't. The things people said about you, the things you said about yourself. And that story lives inside your nervous system, a setting like a thermostat. And here's why it matters for manifestation. Your thermostat determines what you allow. If your thermostat is set to, I am the kind of person who struggles for money, every time the money starts flowing easily, you get uncomfortable or the system gets uncomfortable. And then you self-correct. Unconsciously, you spend it, you sabotage it, talk yourself out of an opportunity. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system was designed to work this way and keeping you at the same temperature that has been set by you. An identity shift is not thinking, an identity shift is not positive thinking, it is resetting of your thermostat. And that is completely different kind of work. This is where I have to be honest with you about something. The problem is doing all those things while your underlying identity remains the same. Think of it like this way. You have a bucket, okay? And that bucket has a hole in it. Now imagine spending every morning putting water in that bucket. Affirmations, visualization, gratitude lists. And then wondering why is that bucket still empty by Tuesday? The hole is your identity. The unexamined belief system running under everything you do. I'm not someone things work out for. People like me don't get to have it. This is not for me. I want it too much, which means I'll just jinx it. Something always goes wrong right when it's going well. You might not always say these things out loud, but in deep inside you feel them. And then you say them to yourself in your head. And these are louder than any affirmation because you actually believe it fully, right? But there's a good news, and I want you to hear it as good news, which is that this whole is not permanent. It's not who you are. It was never who you were. It's just a story that got practiced so many times that it feels like a fact now. And you can practice a different one. Here's what I think of identity when it comes to this work. There are like 3 layers. Layer 1 is things that you say. These are your affirmations, your intentions, what you tell people about yourself and what you want. And this layer is easiest to change, and the one that most manifestation content focuses on. I am abundant, I am worthy, I attract good things. This layer matters, but it only touches the surface. So, okay, layer 1, what you say. Now, layer 2 is what you feel. This goes a little deeper. This is the emotional response you have when you imagine yourself actually having the things that you want. Like I tell you, I read somewhere about somebody talking about their goal is being, in front of the plane and back of the car. And what that means is front of the plane meaning, they want to travel first class, and back of the car means they want to always be driven by a driver. I thought about that and just thinking about I was like, oh my god, so excited. That's the feeling you want to feel. Try it right now. You can close your eyes for a few seconds and actually really imagine the life that you really want. The relationship, the career, the version of yourself you're working towards. What came up? Feel free to pause and do this for a few seconds. For a lot of people is excitement, but also for a lot underneath the excitement there is something else, a quiet but that's not really for me, a feeling of reaching for something that slightly pulls away, that gap between what you say you want and what you feel when you imagine having it. That is where the real work is. Now layer 3, what you believe without knowing you believe it. This is the deepest layer and the most honest one. These are the beliefs you've never really said out loud. The ones you don't even know you have, but life keeps showing you pattern of them repeating. And then you finally sit down and ask, why does this keep happening? Why do I always get close but not quite there? Why do good things happen and then suddenly pull away? Why do I believe this for everyone else but not for me? Like, you see somebody and said, oh yeah, she can do it, they can do it, but not me. Why do you have that belief? This is layer 3 talking. And here's the truth. You cannot think your way through layer 3. You have to feel your way through it, which is exactly what identity work is. Okay, so how to actually do it? I'm going to give you 3 simple practices, not a 90-day system, not a complicated framework. These 3 practices you can start tomorrow. Okay, so the first one. Anytime you catch yourself in a thought that belongs to the old story, doubting, shrinking, scanning for proof that it's not working, ask yourself, what would the version of me who already has this would be thinking right now? Not feeling, not doing, thinking. Because she would not be monitoring her progress. She would not be asking, is it working yet? She would just be living, making her coffee, showing up for her day from the quiet place of knowing. So that question interrupts the old pattern before it becomes a spiral. And use it every single day. Practice to stop protecting the old story. This one is subtle, but it'll change everything. Notice when you're defending the version of yourself that doesn't have the things that you want. And it sounds something like this, like, oh, I've always been bad with money. Money doesn't stay with me. That's just how I am with relationships. Things like that don't happen with me. I never win a raffle ticket. This is somebody who said to me at work the other day. Every time you say those things, even casually or even as a joke, you're voting for the old story and you're keeping it alive. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to shame it. You just have to stop feeding it. Let it be there, but choose not to give it a microphone. Practice 3, the most interesting one. Act from the new identity in the small moments. Here's what most people get it wrong. They wait for the big moment to act differently. When this will happen, then I will do this. A sign, a breakthrough, a big external change that gives them permission to be the new person. But identity shifts don't happen in the big moments. They happen in the small ones. The moment you stop reacting the way that you always have been in certain situations, the moment you say yes to something the old version of you would have said no, the moment you spend $12 on lunch before narrating the lack, the moment you receive a compliment and just say thank you without deflecting, without minimizing, those moments work. Okay, change of location. It was getting dark outside. So I just wanted to say that these moments are the real work. Not the journaling, not the visualization. Those moments, the ordinary Tuesday moments, are where the thermostat resets. I want to address something before we close. This work can feel uncomfortable, genuinely uncomfortable, because the old identity, even though it's painful, is familiar. And familiar feels safe, even when it's keeping you stuck. When you start practicing a new identity, your brain will push back. This is fake. It'll say you are pretending. It will say, who do you think you are? I want you to know That resistance is not the sign that you're doing it. It is sign that you're doing it exactly right. This discomfort means something is working and something is shifting. Something is being challenged that has been unchallenged for a very long time. And that is the whole point. Your old version is very good at staying safe. And the new version of you is learning to be open. And that transition, right in the middle, when it's uncomfortable and uncertain, is exactly where the identity shift happens. You don't have to be ready, you just have to stay. So, to bring this all together, manifestation is not about wanting hard enough. It is about becoming someone who believes genuinely, quietly, in ordinary moments that what she wants is available to her. That is the identity shift. That is the work that nobody explains. And now you know where to start. So, for the next 24 hours, do just one thing. Notice the old story when it shows up. You don't have to replace it immediately, just notice it, name it, and choose not to protect it. That is enough for today. If this video helped you see something differently, I would genuinely love to know. Leave a comment, I read all of them. Tell me which layer hit you the hardest, layer 1, 2 or 3. And if you want to go deeper into this, I have a video of what I did for straight 30 days and what happened. I think you'll want to hear it. Subscribe if this felt like something you needed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.